Okay, so as we're still finishing up the setup, I would like to introduce our guest lecture demonstration for today. We're going to have more throughout the quarter. This is our first one for the quarter. Our guest is Jay Deal. He's a multi-instrument musician and producer. He's originally from Baltimore. He's now based out of Los Angeles. He's done production with artists such as Snoop Dogg, George Clinton, Jill Scott, and Ron Dio, to name a few. He's also performed with artists such as Snoop, Mike Jones, Eve, Queen Latifah, Yo-Yo, MC Light, T-Pain, and T-Diddy, and some more people. And so he's also worked with his songwriter Diane Warren, who's made with a lot of R&B writing. Diane Warren has also worked with Diane Warren and her urban reception team. He's also a representative of the Korg Synthesizer Company. We're going to have some actual products out here today, as well as an endorser for the Fellerhead software system. If you're familiar with applications such as Reason and Recycle, he's worked with those applications. He's also currently creating hip-hop beats for the Korg M3, okay, for the M3 system. And today he'll be lecturing on and giving you demonstrations on an overview, first an overview of iconic instruments in hip-hop production. Talked about some of those earlier in the quarter. Also, hip-hop production techniques. He's going to show you, demonstrate a couple of things as far as how the music is made in the studio. Also, the influence of hip-hop production styles on other genres of music. As you see, hip-hop growing and influencing a lot of people in popular culture, also influencing music in other genres. And also, he's going to finally talk about the impact of this changing technology versus what's going on when we talk about entertainment law and, the areas of sampling and intellectual property and how the technology is kind of moving those laws forward. So at the end, we'll have time for questions and answers. So for the most part, I think he's going to go through his presentation. And if you have questions, we'll definitely give you a lot of time to ask questions at the end. Without further ado, Jay Deal.
Just introducing some staple hip-hop instruments. There are so many. Hip-hop is it's an open platform. I mean, it's all about feel. It's all about getting your point across. Some cats, you might see a cat beating on the bucket. You might see somebody score for an orchestra. I actually did a hip-hop symphonic work this year at the Myron Symphony Hall in Baltimore, Maryland. And it was scored by a young man that's not too much older than I am. He had a hip-hop vocabulary, but he was able to express it through the medium of a full orchestra. So this that I can pop, and now we have instruments around this size that can do the same thing. You can put it in the backpack and go. But what was so revolutionary about this instrument and why it impacted hip-hop is because it was the first digital sampling instrument. It allowed producers, high-end producers, because the price was crazy. What did it say, $25,000? And it was like 2 8-bit processors. If you know anything about computers, you probably have 8-bit processing in your phone. Like iPhone, you rip this insurance story about that. But it changed hip-hop because it allowed instrumentalists to come up with a funkier feel by taking pre-composed music from other sources and integrating it into a whole new tune. Now, the Lim Machine was revolutionary because it's, first of all, the price just got cut way down. Actually, well, this was still rather expensive, but it was a smaller unit, and what it did was allow you to, just the actual sound of it was not real drums. It didn't aim to sound like a real drummer. At this point, it wasn't aimed to being real. It was aimed at having a character all on its own. And it didn't impact hip-hop directly in the sense where hip-hop producers used it. It impacted hip-hop because later on when we find out that people just sampled any and everything, this was one of the drum sounds on other people's records that they sampled a lot of, because the fact that it was funky, the engineers left breakbeats open sometimes, or just open spaces of just the drum loops, and the producers just chopped those sounds up and applied them for their own use. So I'll play a little bit of Oh Sheila by Prince and Sheila E. so you can get a feel of what these drum sound like. And I looked at Billboard's Hot 100 charts yesterday, and as of yesterday, I think I have a diagram of that. And we'll notice that more than half of the songs that are in the top 100 right now, top 10 of the 100 have that 808 sound in it. Let's see, did I get it? Yes. Okay, so we got the Kiss Kiss song, Chris Brown featuring T-Pain. How many of you have heard of that song? Okay, I just heard it yesterday. It has the 808, and it has the 808 in it. If you guys know what it is, that loud boom, boom, the stuff that rumbles the trunks when you play it in the cars with loud systems, and when you're in the club, it's what you feel in your chest if you stand right next to a speaker. Now it's a given that if you want a club banger, you're going to have an 808 or a variation of an 808 kick drum in your song. And the snare sound, we'll go over those drum sounds in a minute, but those drum sounds were glamorized, resampled, and what I call reified, like reification, meaning treating the abstract as if it's an actual concrete thing. The 808 drum kit will never die out. And yes, I said it, if it dies out, I'll give you all $1 million. It will never die out. It's just going to keep being resampled on top of itself. When bandwidths get wider, we can hear more, people's ears expand, speakers get better. For some reason, because it's an analog instrument, I'm not going to go too deep into that. Let me give you my background anyway. I was never a music major. My background, I have a degree in pure mathematics from Morgan State University. So I have to stop that. I have to stop myself from rambling sometimes because I'm seeing numbers on this. This is truly incredible to me. I'm seeing waveforms and Fourier synthesis and transforms and how hip-hop, the sounds that these people, they went for to make an impact, and they had these rooftop parties that just, you know, pump and make a loud noise. Everybody's using it, and I'll show you some examples later on of people that are doing it. This is the beginning of people being able to have a sampler in their home. This is the first affordable, the first affordable mainstream sampler in hip hop. There were some others, but due to functionality, conquest, people really didn't get into it that much. This was just simple. But it only had 10 seconds of sampling time, so what guys used to do is just take vinyl and play the big records on the 33 and the 30, play them at 44, 45, play the samples in here, sample it, and then slow it down to trick this machine into feeling as if it sampled a longer amount of music. But it has a very characteristic sound. This description is from Wikipedia, and it's saying that it added a warmth and gritty punch to drums. Actually, what it has is a bandwidth that's less than your capacity for human hearing. So what the trick does, it makes it feel like it's grittier and punchier, but it's dithering the sound quality to the point where just the crude sound is hitting your ears. This was later, this sound was glamorized in hip hop by like DJ Premier, Dr. Dre. Let's listen to, this is Main Source. What you want to hear is the kind of quote unquote trashiness in the snare drum. It doesn't sound like a real drum set. It sounds like a fake drum set or like a snare on the TV, but that's because the full range was not available to most producers. To a swing value to it. You can dig in between if you know how to kind of manipulate your samples. And what I mean by that is a real drummer can play anywhere between a straight 16th note and the accents in between would be like, and anywhere between that and a strong triplet like, which is important in hip hop because that feel is going to be what the MC drives their whole flow off of if they're writing to the track. So it was important for producers, if they had that extra je ne sais quoi, you know, they normally knew how to mess with the swing values and maybe the layer samples, but an SB1200 was limited in that regard.